good afternoon. In this video, I would like to describe and then demonstrate the elbow flexion and distraction stretch. The advantage of this stretch is to improve the ability to bend the elbow or to do elbow flexion. The advantage of this particular stretch over simply passively flexing or bending the elbow is that the thought is that it actually adds a little bit of a distraction component to the stretch, which is a slight separation of the joint surfaces. In order to do the stretch, you would need some sort of firm surface, either wall or in this case I'm going to use the door frame here. And then you can either use a small towel roll or your own wrist, and I'll show both methods. To do the stretch, you would position your forearm against the wall or in this case door frame. If you need to pad up behind the forearm, you can do that. And then if you're going to use the washcloth, you would roll it as tightly as possible because you want it to be as firm as possible. And you would roll that up and so that it's a nice small unit, and then press it into the front of the elbow and hold it there while you position your forearm on the wall. Once you get that, then as you bend your elbow, at some point that towel roll or that washcloth will stay in place there as you come forward with your body against your fixed forearm. And so that will do two things. That will be bending or flexing the elbow, and that will be adding the washcloth itself will be adding a slight distraction to the joint surfaces. And so you would then, just by leaning in on that, that does passive rather than active elbow flexion and distraction. You may feel you're doing the exercise correctly if you do feel kind of focal pressure at the end of your bicep muscle here on the arm, and also in the forearm muscles. So that's the way to do it with the washcloth. I actually prefer to do it with just the side of the hand because now I can actually feel with my hand how far in I'm pushing, and I have a little bit of a better sense of what's going on. So to do that similar kind of thing, you would just position the edge of your other hand there in the front of the elbow on the side and push in firmly while you then position your forearm on the wall or the door frame, and then try to keep your muscles as relaxed as possible around the elbow while you then keep your hand pressed down into the elbow joint and then lean forward, try to keep everything as relaxed as possible. And then that does the same thing as the washcloth, but I think it does it a little better, which is flexion of the elbow or bending and distraction of the elbow joint itself. The value of this is as much in the slight movement that happens as much as the passive stretch. So I would do this, you could do this either as a passive stretch where you would hold it at the end point for 20 to 30 seconds, or you could do it as an oscillation where you load it for a second or two into the stretch, then relax it out, and then load it back, always maintaining that pressure downward with the hand into the front of the elbow. And then doing that one bout or session of, iteration of that would be 20 to 30 repetitions, and then doing anywhere from 1 to 3 bouts in a session for the elbow. So that is the flexion distraction stretch for the elbow.